Welcome, welcome, everyone. I am so excited that you've chosen to join us today. And a huge welcome to my friend, Christine.
Hello, hello. So excited to be here.
Oh, I just love it. When we were starting to put this summit together and really making lists of who we wanted to be here, you were at the top. So
Oh, I'm
I'm
honored. I'm so
excited.
happy. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's great that I'm here and get to share my story and my wisdom with all of you. So
Mm,
happy to be here.
love it, love it. So let me share with everyone just a little bit about Christine. So, Christine Renee is a Reiki teacher and coach, shamanic Reiki practitioner, and Reiki business consultant living in Bozeman, Montana. By finding healing spiritually through the chakras, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, and enhancing her Reiki sessions through shamanic practices, Christine was able to heal limiting beliefs in her career, relationships, self worth, and more. Wow, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, and your health too. Right, we
Yeah,
got to add that in there too.
that's huge. This was the beginning of her success as a Reiki practitioner, which ultimately led to her sharing her knowledge through teaching and coaching entrepreneurs how to do the same. With 18 years of experience as a Reiki teacher, she has had both success with her spiritual career in a local practice and online with her online school at ReikiCafeUniversity.com, where she mentors Reiki practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs from around the world. Reiki Cafe University is a hub for Reiki practitioners who are willing to do the inner work. Oof, yes, there's a lot of that to bring their Reiki dreams to reality. Christine has an online community of 5,000 plus followers where she helps to educate, inform, and inspire Reiki practitioners of all levels and backgrounds. Christine's fastest growing following is through her podcast, Reiki Cafe Radio. How cool!
I love it. And I love getting on front of the camera. I love sharing my voice with the world. Like
Mm-hmm.
my podcast is a bit of my baby right now.
I love that. I've not been brave enough to go into the podcast world other than being a guest. So
Yeah, it's totally worth
it's
it.
huge. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So let's dive right in. I know a lot of folks here understand a little bit about Reiki and about chakras and stuff, but a lot of folks don't.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what are chakras?
Yeah, so chakras are really fascinating. Let's just start there. One, they're fascinating because energetically they
Mhm.
can influence a lot of things, but on the physical level,
Mm,
the chakras are these energy centers that coordinate with our nervous system plexi in the body. So you have
yes.
this physical energy centers within our body. Like our throat chakra, for example, has a
Mhm.
thyroid.
Yeah.
So like our solar plexus has a plexi of nerves right there. So
Mhm.
oftentimes when we get into the spiritual woo side of things, we get really dismissive of like, well, that's all that energy stuff. And I'm like, but wait, there's more. There's a whole
Mhm.
nervous system around why these are known in so many cultures and
Mhm.
societies. It's not just from India. So the
Right.
translation of chakras come from India from Sanskrit. And the Sanskrit translation is wheel, right? So we have these energy systems that are wheeling into one another, bringing the energy flow throughout the body. So we have the nervous system that's communicating with the chakras, and the chakras communicates with us through emotions, through spirituality that tell us what's going on in the body, right? So in my own personal experience, I'm like, I want to go back to how I met Melissa, is so much an integral part of like my healing journey. So I had, and many people who have chronic health conditions,
Mhm.
whether that is autoimmune or not, have chronic states of stress from their past. Okay, so whether that is childhood trauma or sexual issue, abuse in the past, whatever it may be, whatever our underlying significant wounds are, we absorb that in the body until that it is fully processed. And so the body is trying to speak to us through our emotions, through these chakras, right? So for example, a lot of my stuff is digestion. I'm like raise your hand if you're in the audience with digestion issues, right?
Right.
Like that's so many of us, because what happens is that we clamp down. We like, for me, my autoimmune shows up as constipation, right? And so this is like, I'm not going to do it. I'm so mad. I'm like, I just lock up my gut. And why is that? Why am I not willing to process the food and digest it? Why am I not processing life? So we're getting to the spiritual center of it, of going, why are we not processing? What's going on? And for me, I had years of emotional abuse in my first marriage. I was married to a narcissistic, borderline personality disorder who really, called me everything from a witch to all kinds of names. And it was not healthy. And there was no way for me to speak up. There was no way for me to be who I am. And I pushed all of that anger and discomfort down into my belly. Right?
Yeah.
So, and when we do that chronically,
yeah,
we're going to start having some issues.
Yes.
Right? So when we look at it from the chakra lens, that's all solar plexus. This is that area. The solar plexus represents the fire in our bodies. Now that fire, the element of fire is supposed to break down. Hello, stomach. The stomach is supposed to break things down. And so the fire of the solar plexus is supposed to help us break things down and rid things in the body, just like the digestive system. You can look at the chakras and from the physical point of view, which matches our physical, how our body works. We'll get an emotional side, the emotional side of anger, of knowing who you are, who you're not, what your no is. These are all elements of the solar plexus and of letting go. So we have that emotional side. And then we have the spiritual side of like really understanding that I am worthy. I am worthy to heal. This is my divine right of being a human on this earth at this time, is to live my life fully and completely. And so you have all these layers that your body is trying to speak to you. And so the chakras are just going from the physical point, it's going, yo, pay attention. There's work to do here.
Yeah.
And so when we know the connection, it just gives you a lens, it gives you a perspective so that you have, okay, I have the physical thing. I'm going to work with that with Melissa. I'm going to work with that with her team or your doctors or whoever it is. I've got my physical, but until you really work through the emotional side and the spiritual side and really unravel all that's going on there, the physical side can only do so much.
Yep. I could tell you stories about that, dear.
Right? So once we start looking at the lens of the chakras, now there are 7 primary chakras, and there's going to be lots of different stories out in the world about how many chakras there are, but let's just focus on the 7 primary chakras. So we have root chakra, which is at like lower than your pubic bone. It could be so anything from your legs, your feet, your anus, your like all of anything lower than your pubic bone, that's root chakra. And root chakra is all about safety, having your survival needs met, right? So we want to get grounded, we want to feel safe, we want to know that we're going to be sustained, we're going to be nourished. That's all root chakra. And it's like it's the chakra that's like, let's eat protein, let's get grounded, let's feel we have the muscle mass and the bone structure, and we have the physical capacity to move forward. So we have root chakra, and if we don't feel safe, if we feel imbalanced here, then it's going to show up in ailments in the lower part of the body, right? And then we have sacral chakra, which is like that space between the belly button and the pubic bone. And that sacral chakra is all about your creativity and your sensuality and your sexuality and your ability to move and flow and be creative, right? But when there's a block there, and that could come from anything from sexual trauma or childhood wounds, and this is including just having an art teacher in 3rd grade say, that's horrible, that's ugly art, you're never going to be an artist, whatever you're taking on in your childhood. So it can look not like a big thing, but your sacral chakra is going to be like, oh, that's my new truth, I'm not a good artist. And what happens there is then we'll have reproductive issues, and we'll have chronic lower back pain, and we'll have all things that will show up in that space. And so each chakra, you can look through that lens and going, where does this relate to? How is my body trying to communicate where the healing needs to go? And from that lens, we can really start diving in from the spiritual, the psychological, the emotional, and the physical. And that is when we get to long-term shifts and changes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I could go through all 7 of them if you want me to, like real quick.
Have at it. Go through them, because a lot of people don't even understand, like for a while until I met you and have done additional work in that, I was like, okay, chakras, yeah, where are they?
Right. Well, I think that's it. Like they make a really beautiful lens to see the world and to see yourself and to self-reflect. And so those 3 primary lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra, they're all about inward stuff. The stuff that's happening in our bodies and our lives, whether it's self-esteem or childhood trauma or sexual trauma or not having enough food to eat when you were a kid or whatever that is. And it can also be past lives, like way long time ago, whether that's genetically past lives, like we are carrying the genetic traits from our ancestors, or the spiritual, like past lives, reincarnated past lives. So the solar plexus, I kind of touched on, that's the anger, the frustration, the low self-esteem, the not worthiness, that's all solar plexus, that fire element in us. And when that is overactive, meaning you got too much fire, you are angry and frustrated and having outbursts, or underactivated, low self-esteem, not worthy, being down on yourself. Either way you swing, if the solar plexus is in imbalance, it's going to cause issues in your digestive system. Right? We need, just like our stomach, it needs the right amount of fire, not too much, not too little.
And I'd be going, I need your liver numbers, I need to see how your gallbladder's working, I need
exactly, because the liver is so much about our anger, and then we've got our pancreas and our gallbladder in there, and they all are related to different aspects of our health and the emotional wellness. So every organ has an emotional component to it. And so if you're really struggling in one organ, it's very interesting. Do you go look that up and see the connections? And you're going to be like, oh, look at that. Struggle right there.
Right.
Every time. And I think it's so uncanny how consistently people come with their physical stuff, and I can relate it back to their emotional stuff, and it just pairs up. And it's like, okay, so even if you don't have the physical answers to how to move forward, let's work on the emotional piece and see how the physical just shifts out. Right. And so when we can do it jointly, like, okay, we're working with functional medicine, we're working with the team who's looking at my body holistically, we can do the emotional component, whether that's with a counselor or a coach or whoever. And it will make the physical stuff move faster. Right. And heal faster. And that's what we're looking for. Like, so often it's like, to rebuild the digestive system, it's going to take 6, 9, 12 months. And what if we were doing the emotional piece and we were doing the spiritual piece as well, to rapid fire that change? And I know Melissa knows, like, I was one of those rapid fire, like, oh my goodness, Christine, that you're moving really fast through all of these things. I'm like, because I was committed to doing the holistic point of view, the mind, body, spirit point of view. And I was ready to do the work. Like, so often when we have autoimmune, we don't want to look at our stuff. We don't want to look at our trauma. We don't want to look at our past. And we want to push that aside, going, it has nothing to do with this. And I'm here to say, like, it actually has like everything to do with this.
Yes.
Like 95%, like there's like a
Yep.
little wiggle room there, but like for the most part, yes, this is where we're really having the challenge of your body is screaming at you, it's begging you, it's demanding your attention when we have autoimmune. And it's saying, please love me, please radically love me, so that we can fully heal, not just the physical, but the emotional, the spiritual, the holistic picture. Right? So those lower three is where so much stuff comes up. And then when we move into the heart space, this is when we're looking at relationships. This is when we're looking at our heart issues and lung issues, right? And so when we can look at the heart, we're looking at, can I receive love and can I give love? How is the flow in that arena? And if it's out of balance, then it shows up in blood pressure and heart rate and lung disorders and pneumonia and chronic coughing. And then you move into throat and you're looking at thyroid issues. Are you available to communicate your truth? Are you available to speak what your needs, wants, and desires are, and listen to others as well? And so when we're holding back, when we're biting our tongue, you can watch the jaw issues show up. You can watch the mouth issues show up. You can watch the thyroid issues show up. I had a friend who basically healed her thyroid by starting to chant. And for a while, all it was chanting, no, no, no. And she was singing no. And it healed her thyroid. And she had been on thyroid medication for like 20, 30 years. Right. So because she was focusing on the emotional side of, why is my thyroid not activated? Right. So it's very, very interesting as we look through this lens. We got the heart, we got the throat, we got the third eye. The third eye is all about perception of the world around you. What lens are you looking through the world? Are you looking at, like, I'm a victim, everyone is out to get me, time is out to get me, my doctors are out to get me? Like, if you are seeing yourself in the victim role, guess what? You're going to create that possibility, because what we believe is going to show up for us. The universe just wants to prove to you that you are right. And so we need to remember that for our third eye. We have to recognize, like, for a long time, my mantra is, I hate my body. I don't love my body. Like, my body is not working for me. Right. And so when we have that mantra, like, I know many of the listeners who have autoimmunes, who have chronic health issues, we despise our bodies because it's not working. We get so frustrated in that. And so how can we change the mindset to, I'm open and willing to see my body as where it is functioning. I'm open to change my mind to say, my body is in the process of healing and I love it anyway.
Exactly.
Can we take those baby steps there to shift our mind instead of just hating on it all the time?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Our body is going to be like, all right, if that's what you're calling for, that's what we'll give you.
Exactly. And it's not what we really want.
It's not what we really want. And then we have one more primary chakra, and that's the crown. And the crown wants to help you look at the big picture. What's the life purpose? What is the lessons going on in our autoimmune? What's the big learnings here? Who is this supporting in my life and other people's lives? If I learn it, can I shift it? And so we're looking at the big, broader picture. And when that isn't happening, we become closed-minded. We're not looking at alternative options. We might be sleeping erratically. We might have pineal issue glands. We might have all of the function of willingness to see the broader scope of things rather than get stuck in the nitty-gritty details. Nitty-gritty details is very rude. Big ideas is crown. Right? And so you can see how, how is this relating to where I am in my health story? And once we start looking at it, like, this is the story that I created, and this is the role I'm playing in my own director. If I was the director of my film and I'm casted myself in this role, is it working for me? Is this where I want to be in my life? How can I rewrite and rescript my story? to one of healing, to one of love, to one of support, to one of receiving abundance in your life so that you're not in this constant state of struggle. Like, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune. That's not going to be, exactly erased from my chart, but I can learn and say, I know now what to do if I'm having these symptoms with the help of Melissa. Like, that was something that I can absolutely go, all right, I have this symptom. Now I know how to move forward. And it can self-correct really quick, as long as I'm also doing the emotional and the spiritual self-care as well. And I really advocate for radical self-care. Like, you need to stop people pleasing. How many people in the audience are people pleasers? You will give from an empty cup to everyone around you until you cannot get out of bed. Why do we do this? Right? And we need to look at those reasons. Why did we do this? Was it something that was displayed from our mother when we were growing up? Where did that come from that we have to overgive? Is it just, society has told us that as women, we need to overgive? And that's what gives us value as a mother, as a wife, as whatever label you want to stick to it, because that's a societal thing that we're working through right now. And how do we come to a place of going, you know what? I am worthy to take an hour-long detox bath. I am worthy to meal prep this week to make sure I have enough food that's going to be healthy for my body. And recognizing that this is my body. Like, if that means my kids can't eat it, my husband can't eat it, or whatever it may be, I'm still worthy to meal prep to make sure I have enough. And so radical self-care is all about recognizing where you are, what you need, and then giving yourself permission to take the time to do it. And I think that is huge. And that is such solar plexus.
I'm like,
right? we're all there.
So much.
And I think, regardless if you have an autoimmune or not, these are things that can help you become healthy, stay healthy. And we all are worthy of it. And I think that's what so many people struggle with, is going, I'm not worthy. And I'm going, you're here, you're in this human body. That and that alone makes you worthy to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Right? It's like that, you get on the airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first and then help others. And if we just did that in our everyday lives, guess what? You're going to have more energy to give back. But you gotta take care of yourself first and really nurture your environment and your surroundings. If you have a toxic person, relationships in your life, you have to know you are also worthy of leaving those, changing those, shifting those, so that you don't have that chronic state of stress in your life. Because your body might just be going, you're having this issue because you're the parents in your life, the husband in your life, the whoever in your life isn't treating you with respect, and you're just biting your tongue and shoving it down. I know that was my story, right? And so how many people that's still going on, and they're just trying to make it work for not their benefit, for someone else. And from my experience, it's not worth it.
No, it's not. From mine as well.
Right? Sometimes you have to make really big and difficult choices to say yes to who you are, which is worthy of healing, worthy of your light, worthy of you being passionate and carefree and lovable and all of these things. And when we're stuck in those conditions, it makes it really difficult to turn on our light all the way. And so that's my hope and my blessing for all those who are listening, is that you can see your divine light, that you can see the essence of who you are, so that you can say, I am worthy of healing. I am worthy of a healthier environment. I am worthy of this really good nutritious food, and I'm worthy to take the time to make it. And that's okay. You are, invest in yourself.
I love that. And that right there is giving yourself permission to invest in yourself. Because we think about everybody else.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Right? And so if you want to learn more about the spiritual lens of it, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at Reiki Cafe University, like hashtag that anywhere, and you're gonna basically find me.
Yes.
My primary home is on Facebook. Like if you find Reiki Cafe Community, that's our Facebook group. If you're interested in learning about Reiki or chakras, we have lots of resources on our website for you, courses specifically designed to help support you in your chakra healing, to activate them, to help you find that balance once again, and really take on that self-care, whether it's through guided meditations or activating dance moves or yoga or whatever it may be. We have so much to offer to anyone who's struggling. Like everyone can find a way that feels good to them to help shift their chakras back into balance and wholeness.
I love how that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving everybody a free gift. And let me just tell you the name, Catalyze Your Healing. I love that.
Catalyze Your Healing.
Your healing.
Yes. Catalyze Your Healing is a program that really helps you find that space to heal. And so it's you receive a little mini workbook that's going to help you know the basics of the chakras so that you can start helping support moving into that balance, that state of flow, and releasing that rigidity from your body, your mind, and your spirit.
I love that. So you guys, the link to that is in the email with this video. Please access that. It's a huge, huge gift for you. And thank you so much. So, what is one thing that you would like to just leave us with that's just kind of bubbling up in your heart right now?
I honestly, I just want to send a little Reiki love and light blessing for anyone who's watching this video, to let them know that you are worthy. You're worthy of the light. You're worthy of the love. You're worthy of your song, your voice, your movement, whatever it may be, that's going to help you say yes to your healing. And so you're worthy of your yes. You're worthy of your yes. And you're worthy of the no, oh, hell's no. I'm not doing that anymore. You're worthy of that too.
I love that.
So thank you so much for having me on. It's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you for joining us. And thank you to everyone else that has joined us here. I hope this has been so amazing for you. Reach out with any questions, reach out to Christine, and I hope you have an absolutely lovely day. Take care.
Thank you.